Picture a morning hundreds of years ago in a place where the sun rises over the shimmering waters of the Bosporus Strait and casts its glow on the massive dome of the Hagia Sophia, a marvelous temple in the grand city of Constantinople. This city is the beating heart of the Byzantine Empire, which stood as a beacon of power, culture, and resilience for over a millennium. Spanning parts of Europe, Asia, and North Africa, the Byzantine Empire emerged as the eastern continuation of the Roman Empire, preserving its legacy while creating an identity of its own. One of its many rulers stands out for his ambition, vision, and lasting impact, Justinian I. Keep watching to discover the fascinating story of Emperor Justinian and Byzantium's glory days. The rise of Emperor Justinian. Less than 2,000 years ago, there was a small village called Teresium in North Macedonia. There, the future emperor, Justinian I, was born in 482 CE. Based on his humble beginnings, no one could have guessed the political heights he would reach. Justinian's uncle, Justin, was a swineherd who had turned to soldiery and risen through the military ranks to become emperor in 518 CE. His short rule was characterized by efforts to strengthen the empire and return the state to its former glory, much like the reign of his successor. As emperor, he recognized his nephew's potential and brought the young Justinian to Constantinople to ensure he received a suitable education in law, theology, and military strategy. Justinian quickly emerged as a key figure in court politics when Justin became emperor. His intelligence, ambition, and administrative prowess set him apart. By the end of 527 CE, Justin's health failed, and he appointed Justinian co-emperor. Later that year, when his uncle passed away, Justinian ascended to the throne as sole ruler of the Byzantine Empire. Byzantium before Justinian. To truly understand Justinian's achievements, we must first look at the state of the Byzantine Empire when he rose to power. By the early 6th century, the empire was a shadow of its former self. The western provinces of the Roman Empire had fallen to barbarian kingdoms, and the Eastern Empire faced continuous threats from the Persian Empire and internal unrest. Despite these challenges and the loss of territory, Constantinople remained a thriving hub of commerce, culture, and diplomacy, thanks to its strategic location and formidable defenses. The Byzantine economy was strong, driven by trade routes connecting Europe and Asia. However, religious divisions, particularly those over the nature of Christ, caused tensions across the empire. These issues would set the stage for Justinian's ambitious reforms and military campaigns. Justinian's vision for Byzantium. From the beginning of his reign, Justinian made his vision clear, restoring the Roman Empire's glory, both in its territorial extent and in its architecture. His reign was marked by three overarching goals: legal reform, military conquests, and architecture. To achieve legal reform, Justinian sought to streamline and codify centuries of Roman law. The result was the Corpus Juris Civilis, body of civil law, a monumental legal compilation completed in 534. It was a collection of laws and legal interpretations that provided unification for the diverse legal practices around Europe. It reintroduced Roman law principles in a time when local legal customs were common. Although it did not constitute a new legal code, this work laid the foundation for modern legal systems in many parts of the world and ensured Justinian's legacy as a lawmaker. As for his goals in his military conquests, Justinian aimed to reconquer the western territories that had been lost to barbarian kingdoms. His top general, Belisarius, played a pivotal role in this endeavor, achieving stunning victories in North Africa, Italy, and southern Spain. These campaigns temporarily reunited much of the former Roman Empire under Byzantine rule and expanded the empire to an extent it had not reached since the fall of the Great Western Roman Empire. These military campaigns and territory expansion are part of what marks Justinian's reign as a golden age of the Byzantine Empire. As for the general who spearheaded many of these campaigns, General Belisarius was an essential figure in Emperor Justinian's reign. He is remembered as one of the greatest, if not the greatest, generals of the Byzantine Empire. He is included in the list of candidates for the title Last of the Romans, meaning the last individual who embodies the values of the Roman Empire at its best. By implication, it has also meant that with his death, the old Roman spirit and values would become extinct. His successes in Emperor Justinian's wars played a large part in granting Justinian the military prowess he is now known for. Finally, Justinian ushered in a golden age of Byzantine art and architecture. The crowning achievement was the construction of the Hagia Sophia in Constantinople, an architectural masterpiece that blended Roman engineering with Christian symbolism. The glory days of Justinian's reign. Justinian's early years as emperor were defined by his determination to strengthen the empire. As you've seen, he had lofty goals and was committed to making them a reality. His legal reforms provided a clear and consistent legal framework and enhanced the emperor's authority. Meanwhile, his military campaigns, such as the Nika riots, brought both glory and challenges. The Nika riots, a devastating uprising in 532, threatened to topple Justinian's reign. Sparked by tensions between rival chariot racing or circus factions, the Blues and the Greens, and made worse by Justinian downplaying the situation, the riots escalated into a full-scale rebellion and an unprecedented massacre. The tensions began at the Hippodrome in Constantinople after the planned execution of two circus faction members who had been arrested for murder. Both factions, the Blues and the Greens, pleaded to Emperor Justinian for mercy. However, he had more pressing matters on his mind, like negotiating peace terms with Persia. He changed the sentence from death to imprisonment, but did not pardon the accused faction members. The next day, the people gathered again and appealed to him unsuccessfully. When he refused, the two factions began to chant Nika, which means victory or conquer in Greek. This chant, typically heard in the Hippodrome in support of the competing charioteers, was now directed at the emperor. In response to the riotous cheer, Justinian withdrew from his box in the Hippodrome. This retreat only encouraged the mob, who took to the streets of Constantinople. Protesters demanded the removal of unpopular officials, which Emperor Justinian agreed to in an unsuccessful attempt to quell the rebellion. For 5 days, chaos ruled the streets of Constantinople as a great fire ravaged the city. Much of the city, including the second version of the Hagia Sophia, was burned to the ground. The original had previously been destroyed in riots. Emperor Justinian considered fleeing, but his wife, Empress Theodora, refused to abandon the throne. A speech including her famous words, "Royalty is a fine burial shroud," inspired Justinian to stand firm rather than flee the city by ship. With Theodora's support, Justinian ordered his best general, Belisarius, to crush the rebellion. In a brutal crackdown, thousands of rebels were killed in the Hippodrome. At the same chariot racing track where the riot began, the soldiers sealed the exits, trapping the mob, and slaughtered some 30,000 people. This violent day restored order to the city and marked the failure of the Nika riots. The aftermath of the Nika riots marked a turning point in Justinian's reign, solidifying his authority and prompting him to rebuild Constantinople in an even grander scale. He committed himself to rebuilding the great city and reconquering the Roman West. Emperor Justinian's military campaigns were ambitious and costly. In North Africa, Belisarius defeated the Vandal kingdom, reclaiming the region for the Byzantine Empire. An arduous campaign followed this victory in Italy, where Belisarius and later generals fought the Ostrogoths to reclaim the Italian peninsula. Although these campaigns brought short-term success, they strained the empire's resources and left many regions devastated by war. In addition to these conquests, Justinian fortified the empire's eastern borders against the Persians. The construction of new fortifications and diplomatic efforts helped maintain a fragile peace. Alongside military campaigns, Justinian was also known for his architectural advancements in the Byzantine Empire. The reconstruction of Constantinople after the Nika riots is an excellent example of his architectural vision and ability. The Hagia Sophia, completed in 537, became the spiritual centerpiece of the empire. Its massive dome, supported by innovative engineering techniques, symbolized the union of heaven and earth. It set the standard for monumental buildings and domed architecture, which had a lasting effect on the history of Byzantine architecture. The church's designers are among the few architects in the Byzantine Empire whose names have been recorded. Beyond the Hagia Sophia, Justinian commissioned numerous churches, fortifications, and public works throughout the empire. He patronized over 30 churches and built many buildings throughout the empire's territories, even as far as Mount Sinai in Egypt. These projects not only enhanced the empire's infrastructure, But his religious architectural projects also reinforced Justinian's image as a divinely chosen ruler. The plague of Justinian and the decline of his reign. From 541 to 750 CE, a devastating pandemic known as the Plague of Justinian, or the Justinianic Plague, swept through the Byzantine Empire. Procopius, who disliked Justinian, suggested in his work Secret History that Justinian created the plague and brought about calamities that affected the entire world. However, Secret History is not regarded as factual. Instead, much of it attacks Justinian, his court, his reign, and even his wife Theodora. Although Justinian did not create the disease, some historians theorize that he may have created the pandemic because the disease followed the movement of men and goods in his empire. His efforts to develop trade routes inadvertently created the path for the first pandemic to erupt. Historians speculate that it was caused by the same bacterium responsible for the Black Death. This would make it a strain of the bubonic plague, for which the flea acted as a vector and would have arrived at city ports on dogs and rats. This matches Procopius's account of the Justinian plague, which described bubonic swelling in many places on a victim's body. The plague killed millions, including a significant faction of Constantinople's population. On top of the devastating illness and deaths, the plague resulted in labor shortages and economic disruptions that weakened the empire and limited its ability to sustain military campaigns. Those who were not sick were at home, tending to the ill or mourning the dead. If a citizen went outside, it was to bury the dead. All work declined, and daily routines came to a halt in the city. On top of the halt of work, the plague took a heavy toll on the population, claiming the lives of much of its workforce. To make matters worse, the Byzantine Empire also felt the strain of Emperor Justinian's expensive architectural projects and military campaigns. The emperor imposed heavy taxes to fund these endeavors, fueling resentment among the population. The economic strain of maintaining a vast empire eventually forced the Byzantines to abandon many of their hard-earned territories, although that would come after Justinian's reign. He had succeeded in his military endeavors and reunited much of the empire, but it came at a drastic cost. Additionally, the loss of farmers due to the plague resulted in famine and a loss of taxes from the former landowners. In addition to plague and economic hardship, Justinian's reign was marred by religious disputes. His attempts to enforce religious unity often alienated segments of the population, particularly in regions like Egypt and Syria. These divisions undermined the empire's cohesion and made it vulnerable to external threats. When Justinian died in 565, the Byzantine Empire was larger and more magnificent than when he ascended the throne. His legal reforms, military victories, and architectural achievements left the empire overstretched and vulnerable, though, setting the stage for future challenges. The territorial empire he created barely outlasted him. When his successor, Justin II, inherited the throne, he gained an empire that had been greatly expanded but was overstretched and had limited resources. Unable to pay tribute to neighboring powers, the Byzantine Empire saw renewed warfare that resulted in significant territory loss, particularly with the Persians, Avars, and Lombards. Justinian's reign remains a testament to the heights of human ambition and the enduring power of vision and determination. His story reminds us of the complexities of leadership and the delicate balance between glory and defeat. While he accomplished great things for the empire he ruled, he also weakened it in ways directly related to his ambitions. As much as he is a shining example of a mighty emperor, his story also demonstrates the need for balance in a ruler. How would you like to get a deeper understanding of history, impress your friends, and predict the future more accurately based on past events? If this sounds like something you might be into, then check out the brand new Captivating History Book Club by clicking the first link in the description. To learn more about the Byzantine Empire and its many incredible emperors, check out our book, The Byzantine Empire, a captivating guide to Byzantium and how the Eastern Roman Empire was ruled by emperors such as Constantine the Great. It's available as an ebook, paperback, and audiobook. If you found the video captivating, please hit the like button and subscribe for more videos like this.